Today we have Maya Vishwakarma. She's a great hero who's quit her high-paying job in Silicon Valley as a cancer researcher at UCSF, and over the last 4 years has gone back to India to help women with their menstruation. So Maya, you started something called the Sukarma Foundation. Can you tell us why you started it and then how you went about creating the organization?
Sukarma Foundation, it's like, I always wanted to give something back to my village and the community people. So I born and brought up in a very small village. It's in Madhya Pradesh. If you have heard the stories from India, like usually girls, they don't get that liberty to go out and study more or something like that. Usually it's not very common that the girl should go alone and live alone in another city. I used to visit my village every years, and the things are getting worse because earlier we used to have all the resources and everything, and no girls are coming out from that village going for higher education because nobody cares. But if I think like, okay, I can support few girls, that's not enough. If I support few families, that's not enough. I had to do something. I tried to find out how to educate people and realize them, like, you had to do your own stuff. Like, nobody's here to come and fix your problem. You have to solve your problem.
So Maya, I think your nickname is the Padwoman of India, and that's because of the work you've done with the Sukarma Foundation, which you started about 4 years ago. And I think the goal of that is to bring hygienic sanitary pads to women in rural villages that are going through their periods and menstrual cycle. So can you tell us how you came up with that and why you started it?
This problem is increasing every day, every year, because I visit every year my village. I talk to the girls and all that issues. So I find out, like, in our area it's a big taboo. And myself, I also grew up there when I was teen. So I also had a similar issues, similar problems. So I remember, like, I used to use clothes, and I had a similar experience in those days. So because of that, when I was working in AIMS, I got some kind of infection. Almost all the girls, they may face same problems. Earlier, we used to have a lot of cotton clothes, like, our grandmas and our home. We all had, everything is like cotton. So we used to have a lot of cotton clothes that we were not repeating those clothes again and again. But by the times that cotton went away, and then pads are not available because it's expensive, and also nobody's using that. So because of that problems, those girls, they started using the repeated clothes and not washing properly. And also, one of the biggest problem is coming in India, especially in the remote area, is a hysterectomy operation. So the hysterectomy is going very, very high numbers. Like, I went to my area, I mean district headquarter, and I read the stories called, in past 6 months there are 800 surgery, I mean 800 uterus removed. Then I asked, like, all those girls, like, why you are not using the pads? They said it's not available, and if it is available, it's very expensive. Then I also asked the shopkeeper, like, why you are not keeping those pads? Then they said, like, nobody's buying because it's expensive. Okay. So it's like a chicken and egg problems. Yeah. Like, if somebody is not buying, then they will not keep it. In India, there's no local brand who can produce the low cost sanitary napkin in a very large scale. So that's why all the Procter and Gamble and Johnson and Johnson, all those multinational companies, they are selling their products in the rural area, in the village area. So of course they had to cover the all the costs, like marketing, transportation, and whatever. So they are working as, like, as a big corporate. How about if we can make something like a locally and then solve that problem? Because that will solve so many issues, right? So then this idea came, and I started working my own R&Ds, like, how to make pads and where to find the material, who are the people who working in these areas and all that. Yeah. So that's how I met a guy called Arunachalam Muruganathan, who's a Padman of India. Yeah. The movie came Padman after his story. I saw his TED talk. It's still available on YouTube. So that was quite inspiring. That guy, he got motivation and he solved his wife problem, but ultimately he solved, like, all the women problem. So then I find his contact information. I went to India. I followed him. I got his number. I talked to him like, hey, I really want to do this work because I also had the same issues, and in my area, all the girls having same issues. And he said, "Oh, this is very nice. You come to my town, and I'll show you my work." And then I went to his town, and he showed me. He gave all the day. I mean, the full day, and we visited few of the centers. So then I did my own more research, like what kind of pad girl will like, what kind of machine we need.
What are the negative impacts of not having hygienic sanitary pads?
It is overall affecting everything. Means first of all, the girl's health, her education, her comfort, her overall, like, if she's not getting pads, it means she's not comfortable in her study. Ultimately she will miss the school, and there's a data figure is like 12% girls, they drop out because of this menstrual hygiene problems.
Right.
They don't have pads, and also they don't have toilets in the schools.
In India, it's estimated that 1 in 5 girls drop out of school after their periods start, which is some areas it's as high as 4 out of 5 girls drop out.
These problems, when the girls have like any kind of infection, or the women have any kind of infection, UTI, RTI, cervical cancer, or any problems, they won't tell immediately because it's a very big taboo. They will wait for like few days, and they will tell to somebody, and then somebody in their family will find the time and then take them to the hospital. By the time they go to the doctors, it's very late.
Yeah.
Means it's already infected in so many areas. Earlier, in my time, the age factor was like 16 to 18 and 20s. That was like when you get mature. But nowadays, due to some environmental effect, or maybe the food, maybe the hormonal change, the girls are getting periods in the age in the class of 5th grade.
So how do you think the movie Padman affected awareness?
When this movie came, nobody was realizing like this problem could be really big. But
Yeah.
then this movie came, and it opened a lot of doors for the people. And the movie was mostly playing in the city areas. But the movie actually we need in the remote area, in the village area, which the movie unfortunately was not reaching that time. But a lot of people, they got aware, and then NGO came together, the government also, they got sensitized, and they were also putting some efforts to at least making this issue. Earlier it was not recognized issue, it was just their problem, not anybody's problem.
What is your solution exactly? Like, how much are you selling the pads for, and what are the pads made out of?
We are trying to subsidize against the donation. So we are trying to sell as low as we can, because we really haven't fixed a price, but the minimum is like 25 rupees for a 7 pack.
25 rupees, about 50-60 cents US dollars.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yes. If I can get some like donation or something, we can reduce that price to particular school or the village. Like for example, 1 cup of coffee over here, like Starbucks coffee, usually $6, right? So those $6 is a 1 year supply of the pad for one girl.
How many women have you been able to reach with your program?
We covered 30,000 women in that programs. Means I started this campaign called Pad Women on the Wheel. So what I did in this campaign, when this movie was coming, and everybody knows like pad stuff, so I thought this is good time to go out and make awareness. Everything comes together. Like if you go and tell them, hey, you need to use this pad, they don't know anything about pad, how they will use it. So you had to educate them. At the same time, you should provide something. So I never advertise about our pads, because then that become very biased form, like you are selling your things and then you are coming to us. No, never. So I took this only exclusive for the awareness, like the education part. The education was for the warden who are living there, the moms, the families, whoever can join that, and also the local media, so that they can spread that words around, and the people are there who can, they can see like, hey, this program is running there.
How many pads were you able to distribute to these girls?
So we haven't distributed to those particular girls because, I was only for the awareness. But in nearby, whatever we were making, we are distributing in our area. Somebody asked from from Bihar, okay, we need that in that area. So we send them. Like in the Kerala flood, last year we had a Kerala flood. It's very devastated. So one of the non-profit over here, they said we need a pad. So we send out those pads to the Kerala. So nearly about like the 100K.
Can you show us what the box is like?
Yeah, so this is like, the box. So we started, this brand is called No Tension. So why we came up this brand? Because we want to make we want to empower those women who are making something like the product, and we also want to make that like very catchy and the familiar. So no tension is a word. It's like people call in Hindi also, and also in the English is everybody knows, right? So when we asked like, can you pronounce this word and can you remember? They all came with like, hey, we don't have any tension when we have pads, right? So that's how this name came. And this has like a 7 pads, and we try to make it because, this landfill and this garbage is also another issues, right? We need to make it eco-friendly. So we are trying to use very minimum plastic. I mean, whatever we can reduce, we are already. So this box is already made by 100% like, the recycled papers. And the pad we use like the minimum plastic, which is the same like all the companies who are making. So we get all the raw material from the local small vendors, whoever is the distributor in India.
Can you show us the pad as well?
Yeah.
And so 100,000 pads means how many women is that?
So women, so one village, usually you can find the 500 women in one village. So you can 500 village, 500 women, if they are taking, then the 500 boxes or going to the village. They need 15 pad per periods, right? So 15 times 12. And sometimes it depends like how the periods is. Like in early age, sometimes they have a 15 days continue periods. Sometimes they don't have periods because the hormonal change and the body, they are all also physically weak. Not all the girls are healthy in India. Most of the girls, they are anemic, they are weak, they don't eat like proper nutrition and all that. So it depends, like they have very fluctual time. Means sometimes they get twice in a month, sometimes they have irregular periods. Not all the girls, I'm talking very less percent, but this happens. That's very common. So once they are like 20-25, their hormones is stable, then they have a regular period. But before that, they have high turbulence, means they have so many issues. So depends like how they are using, they need pads. So we teach about how to use the pad. That's the most important.
It's really amazing work. I think you're a great hero for taking the initiative to like tackle such a widespread problem. And any closing thoughts about this?
We want to scale up this, and we want to add on like more value in that, and we want to reach out more people. And also people in Silicon Valley, they can also give whatever way they can help. Maybe the technology, maybe the thoughts and idea. Money, of course, we need, but more than that, we need a collaboration. We have one life, we all knows, right?
Yeah.
And in that life, how much time you have to do right things. Yeah. And the things you really want, you really enjoy. You really don't want to work something like which you really not enjoy, or which are not really helping to the people. But whatever I'm doing, it's great for them. It's not for me. Like it's great for them because they think like we get helped.
The mentality is there's nothing to lose. I'm just gonna do what I can to help the people that I grew up with, the villages.
Exactly, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Maya, and I guess that's why you're called the Padwoman of India.
Thank you so much.
बघवार, इस गांव की झलकियां देखकर चौंक सकते हैं आप कि भला इतना सुंदर भी कोई गांव होता है। पर वो कहते हैं ना, मन चंगा तो कटौती में गंगा। तो बघवार के लोगों के लिए उनका ये अपना गांव ही सबसे बड़ा तीर्थ स्थल है। गांव वाले कहीं भी जाएं, खाने कमाने, बसने का ख्याल आता है तो यहीं लौटते हैं, अपने गांव में, अपनी हरियाली के बीच, अपने जाने पहचाने रास्तों पर खेलने टहलने और दुनिया को ये बताने कि स्वराज मुमकिन है।